Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I take time to align my values with that which I love. And today, moving away from this Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction. Now, they're all still technically conjunct. They're all right there all together. So the intensity is lessening, and yet it's still there. Like, it's instead of the storm, like the thunder and the lightning coming simultaneously, it's like thunder, and a few seconds later we have lightning, right? So it's dissipating, and yet the lesson is still very strong. And what is enhancing this lesson today is a sextile from Venus. So Venus, well, let's talk about sextile. A sextile it's a happy, supportive connection. So it's not like a square where we have challenge. This is supportive, which means Venus is supporting the work that the North Node, Uranus, and Mars are doing in Taurus. And Venus is a co-ruler of Taurus, which means we're really having the value piece of these lessons that we've been going through enhanced at this time. And again, hopefully, especially because we're in Leo season, hopefully you're recognizing where love is for you in your value system and recognizing when you veer off from that. And again, part of this work with this Mars-Uranus energy is knowing where we're being called to shift, where we're being called to change. That is the top of the cards today. Where change is coming for us, where we're being called into our liberation, and where we need to align our actions with our values. So today we actually have Venus and Mars in an exact sextile. So we have, first it's going to be Venus and the North Node, then we're going to have Venus and Uranus, and then we end the day with Venus and Mars, all in exact sextile. And Venus and Mars in a sextile, Venus representing the yin energy, Mars representing yang energy, is like a beautiful balancing of these energies. So Venus in Cancer is bringing that level or values and self-care, well, values to self-care, I would say, actually in and through this energy. The phrase that keeps popping into my head is some meme that I saw once upon a time that says, you know, if I asked you to like name everything you loved, how long would it take before you named yourself? And when I sat down with the astro, that's the phrase that just keeps coming through. If I was to ask you, you know, everything you loved, how long, or even would you name yourself? And to be honest, the first time I ever saw that, I don't know that I necessarily would have, because it's not something that occurred to me. And yet this is something that has been evolving in my mind through that time. And hopefully this is something, whether you've heard that or not, that's beginning to stick, that it's okay to love yourself. It's important to love yourself. In fact, loving yourself is the foundation of everything in your life. So, doubling down on this lesson of love, speaking of, is a yod. So we have a Mercury in Leo formed yod with Neptune and Pluto feeding in. Today we actually have Mercury and Pluto coming into their inconjunct energy, their exact inconjunct, which is part of what makes up a yod. So we're not really seeing eye to eye. So you may be feeling challenged in valuing yourself, in loving yourself, as you see some of your shadows, as you see some of your weaker points, as you see places that you may not feel are shiny and divine. And yet, Neptune in this piece is like, that's okay. That's part of the bigger landscape, the larger landscape of who you are. So all of this is really working together for, again, potentially big shifts within us. But if you can keep bringing it back to that love piece, you will be doing well. Let's see, besides this, speaking of balance and values and all of this, we also have the moon in Libra. So moon in Libra is bringing the perspective of the we. Moon in Libra reminds us of relating. Now, of course, this includes the relationship we have with ourselves. This is the relationship that we have with the universe. This is the relationship that we have with others. And the moon in Libra today is going to be opposing Jupiter, now retrograde in Aries. So again, there's definitely some focus on the self with this Jupiter and Aries piece. But again, through connection, through relating, you may actually get some really good lessons around yourself. So be paying attention and seeing how it relates to yourself. I'm getting that in a few different ways, but I'm feeling that in this compromise card, which I always call the don't compromise card. So feeling don't compromise when it comes to like self-care, what you really need to do in like the basic needs area, food, sleep. What else is basic needs before that? My brain is still very like, woo, from everything going on right now. By the way, Joe is doing better and right now is scheduled to get out of the hospital, it looks like on Wednesday. So, woohoo. Anyway, brain fogs. Trauma fog is what it feels like. Anyway, trauma and shock fog. Anyway, compromise. Don't compromise. Again, basic needs, what you're needing at this time in and through this. But this compromise card is also like, to me, these figures have a lot of like mirrors in there. So recognize that in your relating, because you may get some really good keys for yourself through that interaction. We also have the sun and moon in a sextile later in the day. Oh, these are all really good aspects. Like the day is overall good aspects, but being that we still have that Uranus Mars energy together, there's still thunder and lightning out there, right? So sun in Leo, moon in Libra energy. When I imagine this energy together, I imagine somebody admiring themselves in the mirror and being very like happy with themselves. And so there might be some of that energy. Moon in Libra can bring up the energy of relating. Sun in Leo can bring forth the love energy. So you may even have some love fest energy going on in this. And by all means, if that's what's coming up for you, like, play on, right? So enjoy the love feels rising up in you. But again, hopefully there's some for yourself in this energy. And please take time to sit with the self in and through this. Looking at the rest of the cards, I've got the Fool again. So I've got the compromise card, the don't compromise card, and the Fool again. So, like I said, this Uranus-Mars energy with the North Node, it is not finished shifting, bringing the change energy. So again, take time to be grounded, take time to settle into yourselves, be very aware that the decisions that you're making are probably going to be very potent in your future. And it's just really important to be in alignment with your values, be in alignment with what you want to see becoming on this planet, right? So I get that for sure with this Fool card again. I've also got the Control card, and this may have to do with that Mercury yod that we've got going on. Be very aware of what your mind is doing and seeing where you can bring it back to love. Be aware where ego is coming up, and with Pluto feeding in, watch those shadows. It's not to say you must like shut them out. Be aware, what are these shadows? What are these shadow thoughts coming up to tell you in and through the day? Now, again, it's not about like shutting them off, but it's recognizing your thoughts don't have to control you. You have the power to, as Joe likes to say, steer. So if you need to steer a little, be aware of that in and through this energy. And it's definitely right next to the Mind card. And in reverse, the Mind card is like, hey, don't get too caught up in the mind tidal waves moving through in these astro energies. So that's it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Please keep your suggestions for Joe coming. I appreciate it. And the prayers and the love. It is doing amazing things for his healing. And it has kept me bolstered. So I'm super, super, super appreciative. Besides that, The better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.